Welcome to another episode of OG 55. I got Mr. Choo Choo theme park conductor with me today. We're talking about that Avatar Pandora West Coast news. There is a lot of it from Drew, the Disney dude, and Scott Gustin. They were at that event the other day. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. We got an all West Coast edition. Theme park conductor in the house. Up next on OG 50.
I ain't got nothing to say but West Side.
Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of OG 55. Today we are dropping. Well, we're going to talk about that drop from yesterday on Friday. Big news about Pandora. A lot of stuff going actually on with the Disneyland Resort. But before we dive in, Mr. Theme Park Conductor, welcome back on the show, my friend.
Absolutely, it's always great to be on Orange Go 55. You know, a lot, like you said, OG, a lot of news dropped on Friday. I cannot wait to discuss it with you because it's a great conversation. A lot of things that we were kind of unsure about kind of sort of got clarified. So I can't wait to talk about it. But you can find me Theme Park Conductor on YouTube and Blue Sky at Theme Park Conductor, on Instagram at theme_park_conductor, on X at Theme Conductor, TikTok at Theme Park Conductor 1, and every Sunday at 5 or 7 p.m. for Conductor Sunday live stream, where we break everything down from Disney to Universal news. We have amazing guests like the one and only Orange Go 55 and so many others as we interact with the chat. The chat interacts with us. It's such a great time. Come join us.
Absolutely. Make sure you follow Theme Park Conductor on YouTube and all social media platforms. Conductor is a friend here on OG55. We love Theme Park Conductor. Subscribe, support him. He's a good guy, and he makes great content. And become a member today, a Conductor member. But let's dive right into this. We have a lot of news, Conductor, to break down. We got news from our good friend, Mr. Drew, the Disney dude, who came all the way from Florida to California to break this down. It says here, Monsters, Inc., Mike and Sully to the rescue, is now set to permanently close in 2027 at Disney California Adventure. This will not delay the opening of the Avatar themed destination, which will take over the space where Monsters Inc. is today. So this is interesting because and there's been a lot of misinformation out there, unfortunately, where people are taking this headline as like, okay, well, if they delayed Monsters, that means Avatar is delayed. I've seen a lot of Instagram like posts about this and all kinds of stuff. That is not what's happening. Drew, as well as Scott Gustin, two well-respected members of our community, have both stated they were there at the media event. This does not delay Avatar. What it does delay is Monsters, Inc. Now, what I think is happening here is there is a two-track thing here. I think initially what happened was they were going to start on the DCA side of Pandora. They were going to close Monsters, Inc. and that whole Hollywood Studios area to start constructing that half, the front half of Pandora. I think what happened was, because we are seeing, and Conductor, you saw it with a lot of the other news stories that broke the same day, they're trying to improve operations at Disneyland Resort. They're trying to, kind of keep attractions up as long as possible and what have you. So what I think they're doing is they're going to start on the back half of Avatar, which is the bus load, unload area. Now, a lot of fans, including us, we've talked about it, but like the fan assumption is like, well, you need the Eastern Gateway before you can start the bus load unload area. Not necessarily. You can find a patch of land, whether it be a portion of Symbol Lot, or like you said, Conductor, one time, like, maybe downtown Disney parking, a section of that to kind of reroute the buses over there while they kind of cut into that bus load unload area for Avatar. I think that's what's happening. I think they just reversed their plan. Instead of starting in the park, they're starting in the bus load unload area. They're probably going to reroute that bus area. They probably have to anyway, because we do know, you and I have done a video on this, where the art buses are no longer. They have to find a new vendor, a new I don't know what you would call it, but like a new option for those buses, right? So they're probably going to start digging in to the bus load unload area, give that a year to build out. And that's the bulk of this project. I mean, that's going to be the big show building, is that bus load unload area. In 2027, then they'll shut Monsters Inc. down and they'll start to build out the front of this land, right? So that's what I think is going on here. They did say it's not being delayed. This is not a delay. I don't know. That's kind of what I see. I think they just reversed it. I think instead of starting in the land, they're starting outside the land. They probably have figured some alternative to the bus load unload situation. I don't know. What say you, conductor? What are your thoughts on this, brother?
So I'm going to say 100% agree with you. So what I think they're going to do, like you mentioned, was they're going to move the bus load and unload area to the Lilo and Stitch parking lot, which is basically downtown Disney parking. And the current bus load and unload area is going to be walled off, sectioned off. And not only are they going to probably build a new access road that we could clearly see from the concept art that goes behind the show building for the e-ticket attraction for Avatar, but then we're also going to see probably the sky bridge from that side getting built out and headed towards harbor, towards that, that empty area where Disney bought that hotel back a few years ago and demoed
Right.
it.
Right.
So I think that's what they're going to do. And this is kind of pointing in that direction. That's what I think is going to happen. So they're going to, close off that section for the bus load and unload area. Because, like you said, they already have a solution in place, because they wouldn't delay Mike and Sully to the Rescue closure for a year if they didn't have a plan, alongside not having the art buses. And literally, what, we're only oh, well, no, we're almost a month and some change, because I think the last day of operation is what, March 28th or March 29th.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I think, because they have a lot of utilities they got to run. They got a lot of infrastructure work alongside the sky bridge that they got to construct and build the foundations for. So it makes sense. That's just my opinion, though.
No, I agree with you. I think, look, I mean, and I've seen a lot of social media buzz about this, right? Where it's like, when it comes to Pandora, is it canceled? Is it not canceled? For me personally, and this is me personally,
Sure.
we've seen Disney now confirm yet again on Friday. It's not delayed. It's still happening in this area. You have, Hollow Gelato, you mentioned, was there for the D23 thing, confirmed at that event. It's happening. Hollywoodland. You know what I'm saying? We have literally more concept art for Pandora at DCA than we do for Villains Land. I mean, we have more concept art for Pandora than we do for Villains Land.
Well, let me ask you this real quick, though, because looking at this picture, and again, I want to reiterate, never ever get married to concept art. But when you look at this, my question to you and everybody watching is why they refuse, above all else, to call it a land when clearly it's a land and we can see it in the concept art. Why are they tiptoeing around saying it's an experience? Now it's a destination, but yet they won't call it a land, but they'll show us concept art like this.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why. I really don't know why. Because, okay, for example, right? Super Nintendo World. That's a land. I would say that's a land.
Yeah.
Not a lot of acreage, only one attraction. I consider that a land, though. Springfield at Universal, one attraction, small acreage. I consider that a land. New Orleans Square, small acreage, one attraction. It's a land. I don't know why, conductor. Why it's only going to be 8 acres, probably 7 or 8 acres with one attraction, but we have other lands in Disney's portfolio and Universal's portfolio that are lands that have the same sort of resume. Adventureland is not big acreage wise. It's still a land. Toontown is not big acreage wise. It's still a land. So whether it be a small acreage or whether it be small acreage and just one attraction,
Sure.
I've seen them call these things lands before. So you're right, where it's like, why this? Why are they calling this everything except a land? Clearly, it's a land. It's every bit of land. I mean, if you took this concept art and compared it to, let's compare it.
Yeah, let's do
The
it.
Villains Land.
Yeah.
I mean, what makes this a land? What makes Villains Land a land? But this isn't. To me, it's the same thing. It's a potato at that point. It's a land. It literally, how is that a land? But that isn't.
Exactly.
What's the difference?
Exactly.
And here's the other
point.
Exactly. And here's the thing too. We know more about the stuff going into Pandora than we do Villains Land. We know the ride system, what kind of attraction we're getting in Pandora. We don't know anything about Villains Land. You don't even know what kind of attraction is going into that land. We don't know how many rides are going into that land. We literally know more about Pandora than Villains Land, but fans are like, well, I don't know. Pandora might be canceled. Why? On top of that, Villains Land, we just got a rumor from Len Testa, from Jim Hill saying, well, Josh D'Amaro wants to go back to the drawing board with Villains Land. Well, so we have a land here with Villains Land where we don't know with the attraction. We've only gotten one piece of concept art. Josh D'Amaro supposedly has said they want the Imagineers to go back to the drawing board. That land, according to fans' minds, is for sure. But this land, which we have 4 or 5 pieces of concept art, we know what the attraction is going to be. We've gotten twice now confirmation at D23 per Hollow Gelato. It's happening in Hollywoodland. We also got confirmation just yesterday. It's happening, no delays. But this land is the one that's in question. I don't get it, conductor. I don't understand it, bro. What's going on, man?
Dude, I'm telling you, man. If you go back to the main overlook of the picture, so I'm going to call it a land. Okay. Disney, for whatever reason, refuses. I'm calling it a land because obviously you can look at it. You see the e-ticket attraction where the waterfalls and the big, oval artwork or rock work is. But what's got me more curious is there's a lot of kind of buildings that you can kind of see in this concept art that looks like they could fit a second attraction. To the very far left, you got, these fountains that are shooting up. How we know that's not a show? Then obviously they're going to have a gift shop. They're going to have characters roaming around. They're going to have probably either a quick service location or a restaurant or both in this area. Everything I just described literally defines a land, but yet Disney refuses to call it that unless they are trying to get people intrigued, and instead of calling it a land, which is boring, maybe to them, they thought they would spice up the word and use destination.
I think that's what's going on, conductor, to be honest with you. And that's annoying. I think Disney would be better served just to say straight up, this is a land. I think Disney did the right thing the other day when they said, look, I think Thomas, the Disneyland president, made the right decision when he made it very clear. Yes, we're delaying the Monsters Inc. closing, but make no mistake, not delayed, still on track. The project's still moving along. I think he made all the right decisions with that. But I think you're right where on top of that, I think Disney needs to also say this is a land.
Yeah.
Because really, how is it not a land? You can see it. I mean, like you can see it. It's a fucking land. Like, I mean, it's every bit of land as Super Nintendo World. It's every bit of land as Villains Land. I mean, it's a land. So just call it a land. When you start to make things ambiguous and you start to try to hide things like Disney is doing,
Yeah.
you make it more sus. Just call it a land.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. The button up my side of this, it would be easier if they don't want to call things going into the new administration lands. And they come out and say, when we mean destination, we actually mean lands, but we think destination has a catchier turn of phrase for everybody, for investors and all that. If they came out and said that, fine.
Yes.
But to kind of leave us in the dark and then try to get us to believe that Avatar is not delayed, it's like, quite honestly, how much are you really going to be able to build Avatar related construction in the bus load and unload area when basically what you would think you would want to start with is the infrastructure work that guests are going to see, not the back of house.
Right. No, I get it. I get it.
Oh,
It's frustrating because most of this issue is a Disney PR thing.
oh, it is.
It's a wording thing. For example, let me give you an example right here. This is a cat. Okay.
Yeah.
I can call this a dog all day long. I can call this a dog. I can call it a camel. I can call it a cheetah. I can call it a lion. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's a fucking cat.
It's a cat.
So yes, I can make it sound more exciting. Oh man, this is a lion. This is a crazy lion. This is a cheetah. It's a cat. So that's what Disney's doing is that they're trying to take something. It's a land. It's a 7, 8, maybe 9 acre land, and they're trying to dress it up with destination experience. You know what I'm saying? It's not. Well, I mean, whatever you want to call it, but it's a land, dude. It's a land like New Orleans Square. It's a land like Simpsons Land. It's a land like Toontown. It's a land like Adventureland. It's a land like all these other things. I don't know why they don't just call a cat a cat. You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, I just sent you a picture on your Instagram through messages, and it
Okay.
clearly shows someone did it through Reddit. I don't know who, but they basically plopped down what Avatar looks like from the concept art and plopped it over Hollywood backlot in DCA.
Okay.
And everybody, why OG brings that up, you're going to be fascinated on exactly what we're talking about, why we have issues believing Avatar is not delayed. Because when you look at this, literally the whole, I'm calling it a land, the whole land, the mass majority of it is front of house. Okay. So this is where I have issues. I know it's kind of hard to see, but again, this is just a guesstimate. But do you see where the hell I'm coming from with this?
Well, I do, but here's the thing too, right? If you look at the bus load unload area, the bus load unload area is going to be the show building essentially. The bus load unload area will
Oh,
be
yeah.
like 100% the show building for the attraction.
Oh, by far.
Yeah, everything in front of that is going to be window dressing, trees, rock work, things like that.
Well, see, let me ask you this though. Okay, looking at that, and again, this is not official, just someone deciding to mess around with probably Adobe Art or one of those programs.
Right.
Okay. Do you see what I see though? It looks like the front half of the Hollywood backlot's untouched. So it's still Hollywood land. So my question is, if this is even remotely accurate, let's say it is or it isn't, my question to you is, why not utilize the front part of that Hollywood, backlot area where the little, stages where they do little performances,
Right.
um, and stuff like that? Because if you look at it from this, and again, this is not official, but
No,
if
it's
you
not.
look at it just, in theory, they could easily fit a second e-ticket attraction. So it's almost like they're pushing it way in the back. It's like, but
Yeah.
if you clearly see the front of the land, it takes over Monsters Inc. So how you gonna? I don't know. I'm confused.
No, yeah, I mean, see, I gotta disagree with this artwork a little bit
Oh yeah, I do
because yeah, because this artwork seems to kind of
push it
push it
way back.
further back. Yeah, it pushes it further back than it probably is gonna be.
Yeah.
Because honestly, do we all really think that like that little like stage and that little this whole area right here, like does anyone really believe this is gonna survive? No. I
Hell no.
mean,
No.
like
God.
this right here, come on,
No.
man. Like
No.
like so this is all gonna be Avatar. I mean, let's be honest. And
Oh, it is.
yeah, I mean the onion ring, the awesome blossom right here and all that is gonna be towards probably
Yeah.
close to the monorail, but that whole bus load unload area is gonna definitely be show building, you know.
Oh, sure.
But here's the thing: Disney has shown in the past how they can do the impossible. And I don't want to sound like a cheesy Disney adult because I don't want to be a cheesy Disney adult. I don't like to be that.
Sure.
but, but I mean, to be honest with you though, we have seen them do crazy stuff, right? Like if we were to take this conversation
Sure.
and move it to like 1994 and be like, "Hey, OG and conductor, we're talking about how are they going to fit Indiana Jones, what they want to do in Adventureland?" We'd be like, "There's no way. How are we going to fit it? How are you going to fit that big ride in there? There's no room. There's the Jungle Cruise. You got the treehouse right there. There's no room." So Disney does have a way, at least in California. I don't know about Florida because Florida a little iffier,
Sure.
but but in California, they do have a way of really managing the space really well.
They do.
So I have a little more confidence in that because it is Anaheim. In Florida, they don't really give a shit. Let's be honest. They'll just take down the Great Movie Ride and just put Mickey and Minnie's in there and say call it a day. But out here, they do actually take the time to put a little bit of thought into it, where it's like, okay, how do we minimize the loss? Well, for Galaxy's Edge, we're only going to get rid of a barbecue spot and a petting zoo for Galaxy's Edge. So they do even for Mickey and Minnie's out here in California, we only lost like a parade, like costume building or something.
Yeah.
I mean, they really worked that in beautifully
They
in
did.
behind Toontown. So I have faith in the fact that they can kind of work this in effectively and efficiently.
I
But
I do
yeah,
too. The only other thing I want to say about this is if they do open again, I'm calling it a land. If they do open the land with one attraction, I would literally like to hear them say, "Hey, we're opening the land with one attraction.
right.
Another attraction is being in development." If they say that,
That's fair.
if they open the land with one attraction and they don't say crap, then I'm going to say, well, I don't really consider this a land. I consider it maybe an experience like you love saying. I don't consider it a land because I'm sure people would say, "Oh, well, there's plenty of lands that open with one attraction, Super Nintendo World being one of them out here in Hollywood."
Right.
I just kind of feel if you're gonna build something of that scale based off an IP that's generated billions in the box office, it deserves more than one attraction. Let's
That's
get real.
fair.
So
That's fair. That's fair. And I will say this too, though. I will say this too. And this is why I tell people, though, not to underestimate this land, because there was a lot leading up to Pandora going into Animal Kingdom in Florida. Like, conductor, you wouldn't believe the amount of people that did not want that to happen. I
oh, I'm
mean,
sure.
it was all the Floridians were up in arms, like Joe Rody wouldn't want this. I mean, this is not what this park is about. It's literally all the same arguments we're hearing now with DCA. Oh, it doesn't work in this park. It doesn't fit. Nah. Now, the Animal Kingdom version is the gold standard. Now, oh, that's what we should do. That's the best thing they've ever done. Now, that's the best thing. That's why I'm kind of like, when it comes to the fandom, the fandom loves to jump the gun with this stuff. And even with Mission Breakout, God, man, when they announced that at Comic-Con, it was like the fandom hated it. Oh, this is going to be the end of DCA. This is the worst thing they've ever done. For 6 months in that whole retheme, all we heard was fan complaining about how this is going to be the worst thing. It opens and it's like, wow, this was actually really cool. Not to say it always happens. A lot of times the fans prejudge stuff.
They do.
And just because as fans we can't see how it's going to work doesn't mean it's not going to work. And just because as fans we can't see how it's going to be good doesn't mean that James Cameron is unhappy with it. For all we know, James Cameron wanted it to go in Hollywood Land for reasons we don't even know. Nobody has that special access in that conversation. No one has that internal, like, no one knows what those talks were about. If it's going into Hollywood Land, then James Cameron's probably okay with it going into Hollywood Land. James Cameron has a lot of clout in Hollywood. Believe me, if he didn't want it there, they wouldn't put it there. I can promise you that.
Well, see, that's something I want to see further clarification about, in the next several months, is someone to interview James Cameron about this specific project, and without leaking anything. If I was him, I would say whoever's interviewing me, it shouldn't even matter, but I would state as James Cameron and say, I chose the Hollywood backlot because this reason.
Right.
And I feel like the fans will not be disappointed. This is going to be an awesome thing for DCA. If he came out with a vague statement like that, but clarified why it's going in the Hollywood backlot, I think it would put a lot of people's minds at ease. Now, on the other thing, though, with people complaining about Pandora and Animal Kingdom when it was being built, complaining about, Mission Breakout that replaced Tower of Terror. The thing is, and not to get negative here too much, but people do it for clickbaiting. Let's get real. They
Yeah.
do. They'll go on social, they'll say, oh, yeah, I hate this, I hate that. And then, it gets a bunch of views, it gets reposts and all that. And because they have an audience big enough, people start believing it. But when the final product comes out and people experience it, if they even remember, they say, God, that guy James, who told us 2 years ago this is going to be the most horrible thing ever, he's an idiot. It's not horrible, it's the best thing ever. So
Right.
it's just, I don't know, it's a bunch of clickbaiting, it's a bunch of people that just want views and want attention. It's just like, I guess.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. And that's why it's very important for people to do their research before they do content. Like, it's like, you know, when you look at a headline like, okay, Monsters Inc. is not closing until 2027,
Sure.
you have to read the whole thing.
Yes.
Because if you read the whole thing, you would see that while Monsters Inc.'s closing is delayed, the land is not delayed. So that's why it's important for as content creators, we have to do that work. Because it's easy to look at the headline and go, oh, Monsters Inc. is delayed, therefore the land's delayed. And then you make a video or you make an article. Well, the land's delayed. It's not delayed though. Disney said straight out the gate, this is not delayed. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so you're right. It's clickbait because either it's clickbait or people not doing their homework. You know what I'm saying? Like people have to do their homework and report the proper stuff. Now,
Sure.
it's fair to say, hey, you know what? I don't like it to go there. I don't want it to be there. I would rather have this or that. That's a fair argument. You know what I'm saying? Like 100%. But when Disney's literally saying it's not delayed, like what do you want them to say? Like they're giving you information. And this is the thing. As fans, we want them to tell us updates. We want them to tell us the updates as to what's going on with this stuff. They give us updates, and then the community is like, well, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. It's delayed. I don't believe what you're saying, Disney. It's delayed. Well, it's like, okay, but if you're not going to believe the updates, then why should Disney even bother then? Like, at what point does Disney even bother with it? Because, like, if the fans aren't going to believe what they're telling us, then why even update the fans? If people are just going to be suspect of everything they say anyway.
I'm going to tell you this. I think a lot of fans that are true fans and not people that just want attention and clickbait,
yeah,
is when Josh Tomorrow and the Imagineers went on stage in 2022 and sat there and did the whole blue sky thing at D23,
which was bullshit, I will say.
That right there is why people are questioning every little thing Disney says. And that is going to stick around for years and years to come.
That's fair.
So I get that. I understand that. And to kind of put people's mind at ease, the only way Disney at this point can literally prove what they're saying as actual, reality is by literally demolishing and putting shovels in the ground. Their word with a lot of people does not mean crap anymore because of that 2022 D23 Parks panel.
I agree with you.
One of many reasons.
I agree with you, but I feel like it is selective though, because there's a lot more question marks around Villains Land right now.
Oh, there is.
But like the fans aren't like questioning whether that's going to happen.
Well, see, the thing is with Villains Land, okay, we have all said this, probably even before I was born. Let's face it, I was born in the early 90s. So
see, he's trying to make me feel old again. See?
No, it's all right. Okay. But for decades, though, people have wanted a Villains Land.
Right.
A land based off the Disney villains that's a little edgy, a little scary, and awesome. Okay. So when we're seeing that they tore out Rivers of America, even though a lot of people didn't like that, but they are moving dirt around. They are showing progress on Villains Land. People are at ease. With Avatar at DCA and the Hollywood backlot, it's been a lot of back and forth. Okay. Then, we got approval for Disneyland Forward 2 years ago. They didn't start with the Eastern Gateway project, which we all thought. Then you had people going online saying, oh, well, first it was they were unsure if they're going to bring Avatar. Then they say Avatar is coming because Bob Iger announced it during an earnings call and accidentally slipped it out and said it was a land. Then his own people had to go back and retract that. Then on top of that, you got, people saying, oh, well, it's going to go in the Hollywood backlot. Then people are saying, oh, it's not coming. Then other people are saying, oh, it's going to go in the Simba Park. There's all this confusion. And then, David from Fresh Bake, awesome guy. We react to his videos all the time. He said in a video Well, Monsters was supposed to close according to sources from the inside, friends of friends, that was supposed to close in early 2026. Here it is. We're already almost halfway through 2026. No closure, no date, nothing. Then all of a sudden, we have this D23 event for D23 members at the hotel.
Right.
Imagineers come out, say, no, Avatar is going in that land or going in the Hollywood backlot.
Right.
Then we get this. Avatar's not delayed, but Monsters is delayed by a year for closing. It's like, wait a second. Where, can we just get like a straight picture? So I get where people are like confused and are like, what in God's name is going on here? Can you just, clarify this stuff? That's what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah,
It's
they should. You're right on that. Because like for fans like us, like when we look at it, we can decipher, right? Like for example, like we're talking now, you and I are very much like like forehead deep in this nerdy shit all day long, right? So we can sit there and go, okay, well, obviously they were going to start in the park, but now they're going to start on the bus load unload area first and then move on to Monsters Inc. But a lot of fans that are more like on the Disney adult side that are a little bit more like Disney diehards, but they're not as like deep divey, like nerdy, like you, me, Bricky, would have you. They might not notice that.
sure.
And they might go, what's going on? Like, so you're right. Like Disney needs to be very clear. I think in this case, they tried to be. I mean, they literally said it's not delayed. The project is moving forward as planned. But I think they probably, and I give them credit for that because I don't want to. I want to congratulate and give Disney their flowers and their congratulations when they do the right thing. I think they did the right thing with that. I think it was very smart. If you're going to say Monsters Inc. is not closing for another year, it was very smart for Thomas, the Disneyland president, to be like, hey, you know what? However, this doesn't impact Pandora. I think it was a smart idea. But to your point, conductor, I think it's also correct where it's like, give us a little bit more detail though. Like what exactly does that mean? So maybe include, yeah, we're starting on the back end first. Maybe explain that to fans. Because when you start to get into this game where it's like you have that fan speculation, that's when you get into problems, And
Yes.
Disney is getting better at it. I will say this, I will give them kudos and their flowers for this. A lot of fans have speculated, all the rumors and all this talk about how they're not going to reopen the fountain at Downtown Disney across from Porto's. They erected a sign saying the fountains will be back. They're addressing this stuff, and I commend them for that. I think that's a smart move. More of that, Disney. More of
Yeah.
that, because Disney is seen under a microscope, as they can see here. You know what I'm
Oh, yeah.
saying?
Every,
And every
every,
move is analyzed. You got to be very clear with your fan base, Disney, and they're getting better at it, though. I will say
They
that. Go ahead, conductor.
no, I was just going to say, no, absolutely. They are getting better. And I love that because, like you just said, they're under a microscope. They are under the spotlight. Every decision, public statement has to be literally clarified to the finest detail. So that way there's no misconception whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I do commend them for that. It's just with this Avatar thing, that's when they're kind of slipping back to their old ways. But let me ask you this though,
Sure.
kind of pivoting away from Avatar, there was some other news that dropped. What was it? The Park Hopper. They're
Right.
getting rid of Park Hopper.
Great
So
move.
now the restriction that we all have to deal with if we start off at Disneyland or DCA first, we cannot go to the other park until 11 a.m. But now
Right.
Disney stated they are getting rid of that. And they also stated that that was an option we had before 2020 and COVID lockdowns. Okay. What also happened was the reservation system, but the article I read in a video that I did yesterday, and it's on my channel today. Everyone could go see it. Is that they said they have no intentions at this time to get rid of the reservation system. But
Mm,
they are analyzing it. They are trying to figure new ways. And my point I'm trying to pivot to is Walt Disney World. If you look at what they've done with the reservation system, they only they only activate the reservation system during peak times during the year, including holidays. Most of the time, they don't have a reservation system. And when I read that article yesterday to my community, it clearly stated they're looking for new ways to figure out the reservation system out here to have it less restricted. Well, you guys already figured out a way. You're implementing it at Walt Disney World. So why not implement it here?
it's fair. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. And everybody home, I mean, not to go on a side quest, but make sure you subscribe to Theme Park Conductor and also become a member to his channel. Like I said, I love Theme Park Conductor, and he does a lot of great work. So just want to say that. But like you're right, like the reservation system would be an easy win for Disney, like
It
just
would
to get rid of that. But like they can't. Like Disney's mentally married,
for now.
mentally and financially married, I think, to the reservation system because the reservation system provides a lot of data for Disney.
It does.
Because yes, and they can see how many people are at the park that day, so they can staff how many cast members we need that day. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so Saturday the 21st, how many cast members we need? We got X many of guests coming in, so they're married to it because it's like such a great tool for them. And that's why it's tough. That's why I think it's gonna be tough for them to pull themselves away from it. But you're like you were saying, they pulled themselves away from it a lot more at Walt Disney World. Let's get that over here. Now I do know there is a different culture. I mean, out here in California, we do have more locals, we do have more Magic Keys, more local people coming in than Florida. Florida has much more of a tourist kind of thing going on. That might be a difference there for them. I don't know. But I mean, honestly, if Josh Giamaro and his team is watching, I mean, that would be an easy win for them. If you get, I'm telling you, dude, if Josh Giamaro got rid, if he got rid of the reservation system out here in California,
That'd be a massive win.
dude, that would be such a like a fucking slam dunk for him. Like that would be instant applause. There are a few things that he could do that would get instant praise. That would be one of them. Another one would be New Tomorrowland at Disneyland, or hey, the People Mover is coming back. There's so much he can do to get like just like that quick applause.
Either that, or if you want to start with something extremely small, give us the Blue Sky Cellar in a vacant location, whether it's at Disneyland or DCA. That
Right.
way, us as investors that visit the park that day can
Yep.
go inside this Blue Sky Cellar and see what Disney's up to. And they can, update it as projects move forward.
I would love
Why
that.
they won't do that? It's so simple. They had it once before, but they decided to close it and turn it into a DVC lounge. Like people really have that type of money to spend on DVC. It's like, for
It's
God's sakes,
crazy.
I think we have more DVC lounges in awkward areas at the Disneyland Resort than I'll probably find at Walt Disney World.
No, you're right. No one's got that kind of money right now in this economy, dude. You know
No.
what I'm saying? It's like it's ridiculous. And like you're right. I mean, the I used to love going into the Blue Sky Cellar. Like
Oh, me too.
As a Disney fan, I used to love going in there and seeing like the map of the new park and the models. I met John Lasseter in there, dude. I took a picture with him. Like it was awesome, dude. Like that was really, really exciting. I think that it would be great to kind of get that fan excitement again. Universal still does that kind of stuff. So kudos to Universal for that. But like, Disney needs to lean into that. This DVC stuff, I get it. It's a moneymaker for them, but it's something that like I don't know, man.
Well, see
Eh,
that's something just to kind of tie this off is, going forward with the new administration, I would like to actually see, unless they're publicly known, which I maybe don't know about, what the actual numbers are for DVC signups, continual renewal, the financials of it. Because if it's not really benefiting, why pump the money into it? That's
I
just
don't.
dumb.
No, I know. I agree, man. I agree. And I think it's a waste of space to at least if you want to do the DVC thing, that's fine.
Keep it at the hotels.
Thank you. Thank you, conductor. Exactly. Why are you taking up, especially at Disneyland, like resort, like we're like Disney, you literally just spent like blood, sweat, and tears in like multiple years trying to get the Disneyland Forward stuff approved. And like because you're low on space and you're gonna mess around and like utilize that finite amount of space on some
For
DVC shit, like
exactly.
I don't get it, conductor. Like that, I don't understand that. You're at Disney World, you can do whatever you want. You got all the space in the world. You know what I'm saying? Out here in California, every time I say that, I think of the Tupac lyric. Out here in California, we bomb on you, motherfucker. No, out here in California, no, but no, out here in California though, we don't have that kind of space. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, how do you can't justify it, dude. Like, it's just like, I get it. Like, out there in Florida, do your DVC thing. You can do it out here in California too, but like, don't utilize like park space for that. Like,
You
we don't have the room for that.
well, that's what I'm saying. If you do it at the hotels, then you can hold special events and all that. But this is where I'm going to pivot to actually, because I think what they're trying to do, to be honest with you, what they're trying to do is, you know, put the DVC lounges inside the park to kind of make the DVC members feel like Club 33, and it's not the same. It really isn't. That's why
No.
it needs to stay at the hotels. It needs to be in one central location because, like you said, the Disneyland Resort, we don't have all this land to just sit there and throw a DVC lounge in a huge vacant building like Star Wars Launch Bay, for example, where
Right.
you as a DVC member walk past all these old dusty props and dusty sets from extinct attractions and a dusty old cobwebbed D23 model of Galaxy's Edge from 2016 or wherever it was. It's like, for God's sakes, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't understand this. I really don't. So that's something I would hope Josh, being a parks guy, would really understand and try to enforce once he literally takes full control from
Yeah.
Iger.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I think honestly, like I'm seeing some positive stuff going on right now. I am. I'm seeing some positive stuff. I like that move yesterday when it came to okay, we're delaying monsters, but emphasizing to the fans, this is not a delay for the attraction. I think
Yeah.
that was a big step for Disney. I think they should be doing that kind of stuff. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not room for improvement. I agree with you. I think you got to be very, very clear with this stuff because Disney is not a normal brand. People are very invested in this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like people analyze this stuff. If Universal were to drop the same stuff, it would be fine. But with Disney, it's under that microscope in a big way. You really got to come with it. You really have to explain yourself, Disney. And I know it's annoying, Josh. I know it is. I get it. But that's just look. It's a blessing and the curse. The fandom loves your stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's great. At the same time, it's a curse because they love your stuff so much that they're focused on it so much, so
Yeah.
it's hard, but Disney has to find that, so and I think Josh will do a good job. I here's the thing too, conductor, to kind of ease your worries a little bit. I do believe the whole like when it comes to Pandora and all that stuff, it's a land. I think all that crap about destination and experience is Bob Iger era word salad. I really do. You have 8 or 9 acres there with a full-blown e-ticket attraction and what was clearly shown in the concept art as a land.
Yeah.
It's a land.
Well,
But I
yeah.
think that they just wanna they wanna spice it up. They wanna seem like way more epic than it maybe really is, and they wanna, like, spice it up and make it cooler. It's like, you don't need to do all that. Just
No.
make a cool Avatar ride with the cool land, and you're good, Disney. But
Yeah.
I think the Iger era, they don't really get that, you know what I'm saying?
They don't. They honestly don't. So, if you could pull up that post you had with the Indiana Jones picture,
Oh, I
I
got you, bro.
do want to clarify on this, and I
I got
want to kind of nerd out with you on this because this is something we've seen happen a lot,
you. Yeah, I got you.
in the last year or so. So, if you want to go ahead and read it for us,
Yeah. No, we got the one and only Drew. Now, first of all, I want to say a big shout out to Drew. We love Drew. He's family here at OG55. He's an amazing dude. He's not just the Disney dude. He's an amazing dude. We love Drew, and also Scott Gustin, who is also out there in California for that announcement. So both of these gentlemen are amazing guys. But it says here, Disneyland Resort has started a new initiative to greatly increase attraction reliability and availability. The significant investment aims to improve the guest experience due to stronger attraction uptime at both Disneyland and California Adventure. Now, this is really when people wonder what's going on with Monsters Inc. Why did they extend Monsters Inc. another year? This is why.
yeah,
We have a new park president, this Thomas dude, right?
yeah,
Because I can't pronounce his last name, so I'm gonna call him that Thomas guy. But this Thomas guy, no disrespect, I just can't pronounce his last name. But Thomas, this is why you're seeing Monsters Inc. stay open another year because he wants to have the attraction availability for the kiddos. He understands if we shut Monsters Inc. down, you already have a low attraction roster at DCA for kids.
yes,
That's what this is about. It's not about Pandora even. It's not about delaying Pandora. It's not about James Cameron having second thoughts or, Pandora isn't this, that, and the other. It's about making sure Monsters Inc. is available for another year as long as possible because they're trying to increase, like they say, attraction, reliability, and availability. That's what the Monsters Inc. thing was about. It wasn't about question marks about whether Pandora is happening or not happening. They made it clear the last 2 weeks. They've stated clear as day, this land is happening and it's happening in Hollywood land. I don't know how many times they got to say it, but go ahead, Conductor. What are your thoughts on this, brother?
Well, okay, so I'm gonna tell you what I think. One option is exactly what you just said, which I 100% agree with. DCA cannot afford to lose any more attractions until at least the Avengers attractions are open. Because
Right.
obviously Coco, it might open around the same time, but it might not. But at
Right.
least we'll have 2 more attractions in 27 when supposedly Monsters is going to close. When we look at something like this, and again, I encourage everyone to go check out my video because I read an article from Scott Gustin himself, and it was a very good article. But what he stated in that article was that they are looking at options to do maintenance on these attractions overnight. That was one of the things I read to my audience. The second thing was they are looking at trying to cut down on closure dates. Okay, so like for example, like if we see Thunder Mountain, one of my favorite attractions besides Indiana, there are times we've seen Thunder Mountain close for a month, maybe a month and a half, maybe 2 months. What they are trying to implement is maybe instead of 2 months, they might close it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks tops.
Right.
Okay. That's what they're trying to aim for. And my question to you, OG, because we were kind of all concerned.
Yeah.
You know, you've done many videos with Jared and theme park philosophy and even myself on this subject.
Right.
Disney and Bob Iger literally they invested $1 billion into OpenAI. And a lot of people are, you know, still iffy about it because they want to know what Disney's intentions are with it. What if, you know, spending that type of money in something like that is going to be incorporated to the back of house operations like attractions to kind of give a better data structure for these attractions, especially some of these older attractions to keep up on maintenance when necessary. So we have less downtime and more uptime.
Hey, I'm all for that. I mean, AI, I've talked a lot about it with my buddy Jay Shear too. You know, Jay Shear, who we love. Jay Shear is amazing. Um, but he's talked about how AI, he's worried about how it can be used creatively, right?
Sure.
But I think, but he was saying, and I don't, and again, I don't want to like completely speak for him, but just kind of like to surmise in general what he was saying, where like he doesn't want it to replace human beings and human creativity, but in regards to like trying to figure out problems and trying to even cure diseases and things like that, AI is an amazing tool. You know what I'm saying? So
Sure.
if you can utilize AI for back of house, like you were saying, conductor, to like figure out problems, dude.
Before they happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. You know, I would love to see stuff like that. I mean, I have no problem with that. AI is here to stay. Look, and here's the thing: people can be mad about AI, and I agree with that. I mean, literally every person watching this, your job has the potential of being impacted by AI. Whether you're in customer service, retail, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what your job is. Engineering, it doesn't matter. Your job could be impacted by AI, right? It's just a matter of how this technology is utilized responsibly, right? So if it's utilized responsibly to figure out problems and do all that, I'm all for it.
Same.
If they can do that, I'm fine with that. But if it comes down to like, hey, we're going to utilize AI to replace like like Joe Rody and like Bruce Vaughn, like no, we don't do that here. You know what I'm saying? This is Disney. You know, the people that work at Disney like are important. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole company is based on the amazing people, like whether it be the Sherman brothers or Mary Blair or the Nine Old Men or Howard Ashman, who I love dearly, or Alan Menken. There, Glenn Keane, Andres Deja. There are so many amazing people that that have worked at Disney that have impacted this company. You do not want to become a company where you're replacing amazing people like that with a computer, you know? But if you
100%.
want to use an AI to sort of crunch data and figure shit out on the back end, that's a different story. That's a different conversation, and I'm fine with that.
100%. And I will tell you this, since they spent the money already on investment of OpenAI, several things I would like to see that are critical issues for Disneyland, and I'm not sure about Walt Disney World as much. I'll see a lot of that when I'm out there, and I cannot wait. We're
I can't.
less than a
I
week and
can't.
a
You're a week and a half away.
a week and a half away, man. I am so excited. I cannot even tell you.
Bro, I'm
I
telling you right now, when you come back,
uh,
we're gonna get your ass back on this channel. We're gonna talk about it, dude.
100%. I'm so down. But going back to OpenAI, though, several things I would like to see. First off, ride impact. So I want less ride downtime, more ride uptime. That's the
That's fair.
first thing. Second thing, when it comes to the Disneyland app, especially when it comes to virtual queues, OpenAI can help with the app so the servers do not crash. That's the second thing. Third thing is when you look at Disney Plus, or you look at you know, maybe mobile ordering in the parks. A lot of times, depending on guest capacity at the resort that day, it could be buggy, it could be slow. Same thing with Disney Plus. If they drop a new series, let's say Obi-Wan season 2 drops.
Oh shit.
I'm still hoping for that, but that's beside the point. Let's say that drops tomorrow. I've seen it with season 1 where the Obi-Wan series in Disney Plus crashed multiple times. I mean multiple times, because you had probably millions, if not tens of millions of people watching it. Okay. That's the type of open AI investment I want to see for Disney.
Yeah.
Like you said, though, I don't want to see robots as characters. I don't want to see robots behind counters. I don't want to see robots interacting with guests. I want to see actual people like you and I.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, me too.
That I'm perfectly fine keeping old school. I have no problem. But the other 3 I just mentioned, that's what I want OpenAI to fix. If it could fix those problems, then we're solid. Now,
Yeah.
when it comes to the reservation system, I think they can pick a different avenue on that. Because when you think about it, even though it's not AI, when you park at the parking structure, right, they have the little sensors above the park spot to tell you when a car's there, when it's parked there. So they already have, you know, the technology, even though it's not AI, to kind of tell Disney data. So can that be further increased without enforcing the reservation system so much? Absolutely. If Magic Kingdom and the Walt Disney World Resort can do it, even though they clarify themselves as a tourist destination,
Right.
that shouldn't matter to a point. If they can implement it there, they can implement it here. Just like how we implemented Disney, or was it Disneyland Paris's entrance gates? They have it out there. We implemented it here. So it is possible. But like you said, right now, they have no intentions of getting rid of it because they want to hold the reservation system to their chest,
Yeah.
which is fine. But I think we're starting to see that restriction become less tight. And what I mean is by getting rid of the park hopper restriction. That's just the catalyst and the beginning of what we could see for the future.
Yeah, no, well said. Well said. There's a lot that they can do here, and I think that we're seeing a lot of positive changes. Not perfect, but there are things that are being implemented and PR moves that are being made that are a step in the right direction. I talked about it with Slimer and Vash Sky and Jared from Capture the Magic on a recent live show we did, where you know Josh Giamaro admitting that people like Smuggler's Run, but they don't love it. That's a big deal, dude. That's a huge deal because the Bob Iger era would never admit something like that. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that he admitted that is a big step. And we got to give Disney credit for that. So there are moves being made at Disney that are huge. Now, does that mean they're perfect? No, of course not.
No.
But and this is the one thing that with the fandom is like, and I've been saying this for a long time, Conductor, and you and me are on the same page with it, but a lot of people don't. I don't really get this sometimes, where it's like we have to praise Disney when they do good and criticize them when they do bad, right? Because if we only criticize, they start to tune us out. They hate everything. Screw them. We're not going to listen to what the fans say. It's important as a fan community to be balanced and be like, hey, you know what? that move you did, Disney, right now, that was good. We appreciate that. Let them know they did good. But now when they fuck up, then we can say, Disney, you kind of shit the bed on that one. You know what I'm saying? So but it's important. It's important to be to say it like it is, where it's like they you do good, you do bad. If we're just if the fandom is just a constant complain fest where everything's complaining, Disney's not going to listen to us anymore.
No.
Disney's going to look at the fans and go, you know what? These Disney adults are fucking crazy, dude. All they do is complain. We tell them that this is not delayed and they think it's delayed. We tell them this, that, and the other. And it's like, we have to be reasonable as a fandom if Disney's going to listen to us, you know what I'm saying? And that's the big thing. Yeah. And I think a lot of fans don't get that, where they're like, yeah. So when they do good shit, we have to say they're doing good stuff, you know? Yes. And it's even more important right now. We have a new CEO coming in. This new CEO and his new administration is really listening, because believe me, they want to get momentum on their side. So it's more important now, fandom, than ever, to say how you really feel and be honest, the good and the bad. If we only complain, and when they give us exactly what we want them to give us, and we're still complaining, they're going to tune us out. We have to be normal.
Yeah,
okay, no. Be normal.
Yeah, exactly. And I couldn't agree more. My only thing is, as well, is Disney has to be very careful. Like I said, and even like you said, they're constantly under the spotlight. They're constantly under a microscope. So their actions alongside of what they say in public is scrutinized to the highest level.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
when they're coming out and stating Avatar is not delayed because of Monsters closing a year later, again, in theory, okay, we're going to take your word for it.
Right.
But when it comes to the point where we start figuring out as investors, hey, it is delayed. When are you going to make a statement about it? And they know it's delayed, then it only makes themselves look even more stupid. So they have to be just as careful on what they say as what they do.
Yeah. No, you got to put your money where your mouth is, right?
Yep.
So if Thomas, Disneyland president, is going to come out, and Josh tomorrow, they're going to come out and say, hey, this is not delaying the project, that's good. OG will commend you all day long for that. You did the right move, Thomas. But if you end up fumbling, not so good. So you have to follow through with that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, you're right, conductor. You have to follow through with that. So we'll see. I still think that we're going to get Pandora probably 2031, which will be around that 5-year timeline that he promised at D23. I still think we are going to get that. I really do believe this Monsters Inc. thing, when they say it's not delayed, I really do believe them. And I'll tell you why. I think they were originally planning on starting on the park side of Pandora first. So they were gonna close Monsters Inc. first, work on the inside stuff, and then wait for the bus load unload area and do that after. I think the only thing that's changed is they're just flipping it. Yep. So now they're gonna start on the bus load first, and then start on Monsters Inc. after. I think that's really the only thing that changed. And I could be wrong. I have no special access. I'm not part of any kind of, but but in my mind, I think that's what happened. I think they just decided, hey, you know what? Maybe we should start on the outside of the park first, so the kiddos have a ride for another year that they wouldn't have if we shut it down right away. I think that's really what's happening. So I do believe them when they say it's not delayed, because I really do believe. And look, here's the thing. And to a big shout out to Theme Park Wizard, because he made this point in a group chat the other day with myself and Alan, Almighty Coasters, which I think was a great point. The Eastern Gateway was always on a separate construction timeline. If we remember, Monsters Inc. was supposed to close in early 2026.
Yes.
Well, The Eastern Gateway was never going to be open by then.
No.
So it was the plan was always to start Pandora before the Eastern Gateway. It was always the plan, because the fact that Monsters Inc. was going to close in early 2026 proves that they weren't going to finish the Eastern Gateway before they started Pandora. And Wizard pointed that out, and I'm like, you know what? Dude is right. He's absolutely right. They were never going to complete the Eastern Gateway prior to this project. That was never the plan. Never. So anyway, interesting stuff. But anyway, conductor, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
So final thoughts, in my personal opinion, is Disney is, at least for the Disneyland officials like Thomas and others, I think the statements they made for the media was in the positive direction. But again, talk is cheap. Action is more valuable. When we start seeing action, then we know it's real. I can tell you right now, I have $1 million in this briefcase, but unless I show everybody, everyone's going to call me a liar.
Right.
So I would hope Disney has learned their lesson from the Iger errors, from the Chapek errors, from other administrations' errors, and said, okay, enough is enough. Whatever we say in public and make statements, we better own up to it,
Right.
and either execute it or come out, be the bigger person, and say, hey, things didn't work out. We're not doing this. Instead of getting so much hate on social media and other platforms, where at some point it gets so bad that they have no choice and they have to make a statement.
Right. And here's the thing too. You're right. They have to stand by their word. And as fans, we have to also be even with our assessment. We can't blindly assume everything they say about Villains Land is the truth. Well, we're gonna delay Villains Land because we're gonna go back to the drawing board and make it bigger and better, and everyone's cool with that. But then turn around and be like, well, Villains Land, I mean, Pandora, well, that's not delayed. Well, there's something suspect about that. Like, we have to be honest here, because Villains Land seems like a little bit more of a question mark right now. It's going back to the drawing board. We have only one piece of art. We don't know what the ride's going to be. We have no idea what the ride, we don't even know how many rides are going to be in that land at this point. We have no idea about a ride system, anything. Fans need to be fair. If we're going to question whether Pandora is going to happen or not, we also have to question whether Villains Land is going to happen or not. There's more question marks with Villains Land. And for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, but it's only Pandora in the crosshairs. Only Pandora's on the chopping block, apparently, with the fandom. Only Pandora's in question. But like Villains Land, we know next to nothing about it. And Josh D'Amaro has said we want to go back to the drawing board, but for some reason that's confirmed, and that's going to happen for sure. But Pandora, well, we have 5 pieces of concept art. We know the ride system, and we've confirmed twice now in 2 weeks that it's happening. I don't know. That's in question. We got to be fair too, So that's why I think that as fans, we have to be honest with these projects, because Villains Land isn't a for sure thing either. They've dug into that area, yes, but that's mostly for cars, though.
And that's something I will tell you this, OG, and everybody watching. I would like to put a pin in this conversation, and literally in August, D23, if we do not get any clarification on what the heck is going on with Pandora, DCA, Disneyland Forward, Eastern Gateway, any of that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I want to come back to this conversation and say, okay, we waited 6 months, no information, a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, no, you're right, conductor. You're 100% right on that.
I would hope that we don't come back on this point 6 months from now and saying, "Yep, still no news." It's like, okay, but you know,
You gotta deliver, Disney. And he's right. Conductor's right. I'm sticking my neck out there right now, defending Disney, saying, "Hey, look, you're telling us Pandora's not delayed. You're telling us this shit's fucking happening. Cool, cool. If fucking D23 happens and we don't hear nothing about Pandora, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say, like, dude, you know what? I was wrong, and this is not okay. This is not okay. You know what I'm
no, it's
saying?
not.
So we
And
have, I mean, look, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You guys are Disney's doing the right thing right now. They're saying not delayed. We're explaining things, yada yada yada. Cool. But if you start to play the game months from now, it's not okay. You know what I'm saying?
it's not. And the one last thing I'm going to say to everybody is we have the best of intentions for Josh and his new administration. We have
100%.
not we have a guy that has always been, in the parks, has position in the company that's always been park related. So we would honestly hope that the parks are taken care of. The domestic parks for sure. Will he execute on his promises and his comments? We will see.
Yeah.
We will see. That's where I put a big question mark, because one of the major hurdles he can really, really benefit from accomplishing is this avatar problem. If he can navigate, he can instruct his administration alongside himself and go on camera, go on a social media platform and clarify things where people are less confused and we're
Yeah.
more excited for the project than confused, then that's a major win for him. So
100%.
we'll see.
We'll see. No, well said. And conductor, I love having you on, brother, because you're honest, you're upfront. We can have this back and forth and debate this stuff and talk about it. And that's why I always love having you on. And everybody at home, if you are not subscribed to Mr. Theme Park Conductor, what are you doing with your life? Huh? Okay, what would you do with your life? Can you can you figure that out, please? And go subscribe to this man today. Absolutely today. We love Conductor. Follow him on YouTube, follow him on X, follow him on Instagram. He's on all platforms. Are you on Blue Sky as well, Conductor, or no?
I am.
Okay, so also Blue Sky. Make sure you follow Mr. Theme Park Conductor. He does great shows. Go ahead.
And I will tell you this, even though the name is depicting, I don't make fantasy posts and stories like we saw in 2022 at D23. I only post what I see and what I feel is real. Clarification on that.
There it is. Exactly. There's no blue sky over here.
Nope.
There's no blue sky over here. I love it. I absolutely love it. Mr. Theme Park Conductor, if you want to give everyone the details as to where they can find you on social media, sir.
Absolutely. Again, I want to thank Orange Go 55 for always being such an amazing host. I love him as a brother, and he's just awesome to talk about theme park content with. Absolutely incredible. But you can find me on YouTube and Blue Sky at Theme Park Conductor, on Instagram at theme_park_conductor, on X at Theme Conductor, TikTok at Theme Park Conductor 1, and every Sunday, including tomorrow, at 5 or 7 p.m. for Conductor Sunday live stream, where we have amazing guests like the one and only Orange Grove 55 and so many others as we break down Disney and Universal news. We speculate, we talk rumors, we go back and forth like we did in today's video, and we interact with the chat. The chat interacts with us. It's such a great time. And Orange Grove 55, he is a constant contributor on Conductor Sunday live streams. He's also one of our great moderators on that channel as well. So a big, big shout out to Orange Grove 55.
I appreciate you, Conductor. And then any details in regards to tomorrow night's show? Any special guests? Anybody coming on?
So I am reaching out to two gentlemen that have been on the show. once before. Leaving today's podcast, I encourage everybody to go check out their channel. A lot of amazing content. They have been doing their channel for about 10 years, so they just celebrated their 10th anniversary. So I'm trying to get them on because they think a lot like me and Orange Grove 55 do. They
Yep.
have a passion, a love for the theme parks and for the company in general. So I love having them on. And if they are available to make it, I will tell you guys, we are going to be talking about what we just talked about in today's video in greater detail, because these announcements coming from the Disneyland officials,
It's huge.
it's massive.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Conductor, I appreciate you, brother. As always, make sure everybody subscribe to Theme Park Conductor. Become a member to his channel today for exclusive content. If you want to be part of that special access, make sure you subscribe to Theme Park Conductor. I want to thank Conductor for coming on. I want to thank all of you for watching. Comment down below with everything on your mind tonight. And as always, thank you for watching. OG Ready 5. Here is Mimi Fan, the one and only. The one and only. Here she is, everybody. Me.
Thank you so much for watching OG55. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and become a member today. Mwah!